Congratulations, you're in the glory of God. Congratulations, He has done it for you. And you will come back with a new song to sing. God is good. Yes, you will come again with a new song of praise. God is good. Oh, congratulations. 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 Say what the Lord has done for you. Congratulations. God is good. Them say that I can never be all that I see. I've seen that God is greater than that. Who can battle with the Lord? No, nobody. Who can change His mind around me? Through many years, in many ways, I have seen His faithfulness ever and ever. Yeah. Congratulations, I have seen the glory of God. Congratulations, He has done it for me. And I have come back with a new song to sing. My God is good. Yes, I will come again with a new song of praise. My God is good.
Let's stand up for the Chancellor's entrance. And I think it doesn't do us bad if we can give a hand clap as the Chancellor's entrance arrives at the venue. Let us give a round of hand clap. I guess it is very low simply because the numbers, but the graduates could be hungry. Maybe some missed the morning tea. And as the Chancellor's entrance arrives, we are going to have the anthems right away.
Afrika Mashariki, tuwezeshe kuishi kwa amani, tutimize na malengo yetu. Jumuiya yetu sote tuilinde, tuajibike, tuimarike. Umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, idumu jumuiya yetu. Pakuvengane terionyona, yene kwamba kukanda, tinyamanye wanyo ekwanga yafe, kwejolo lesizona. Señor, ora Buganda yafe, echitimba cha Buganda chabata, nafe tuchikongenga. Abazira eno abatusoka, barwa na nyo munjalo, nibayagala nyo ekwanga yafe, nafe tuyagalenga. Tresingenyo, ora Buganda yafe, echitimba cha Buganda chabata, nafe yaffe tugikumenya twabana balero katulwane okukoza Buganda nga tujugira nnyo bajjajja baffe bafiirire ensi yaffe. Muteesa wa Royal University, what a treasure, oh, what a treasure we have. How we pride in you for your effectiveness on all the persons that go through your hearts. Ese Kabako, Muteesa the first, who has such a vision for our greater Uganda, zealous for reform and for modernity. Truly education has now been enhanced. Muteesa was Royal University, a vision put in business by Muteesa II, and then consolidated by Muteesa II, to make Uganda kingdom great and shine. Ese Kabako, Muteesa the first, who has such a vision for our greater Uganda, zealous for reform and for modernity. Truly education has now been enhanced. Muteesa won Royal University, better our horizons that we seek in thought and deed. Always marching on as in war, prudently, decently as we march on. Ese Kabako, Muteesa the first, who has such a vision for our greater Uganda, zealous for reform and for modernity. Truly education has now been enhanced.
Thank you. Let's remain standing for a word of prayer. I request Dr. Muteesa Fred to take us through the prayer.
Let's pray. Thank you for the journey mercies you have accorded us. Lord, we call for your guidance as we go through this great function. In the Lord's name, I have prayed.
We can now get seated, ladies and gentlemen. As I told you at the beginning, we once again welcome you to the 9th graduation ceremony of Muteesa, the first Royal University. We welcome everyone who has managed to make it here today. We want to congratulate our graduates, mostly those who have been lucky to be invited to witness physically this occasion. I think we should thank both the Almighty God and COVID-19 for having spared us from 2020 to see 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, if you do not thank COVID for having spared you, don't blame me when you're gone next month. 2020 hasn't been an easy year, but we should be happy that we've been spared. We would clap for that, to see that we're still alive and kicking. Today, my name is Pade Senkungu. I'm the MC. I'm going to work with Dr. Muteesa Fred Kamoga, the former Dean Faculty of Education. Ladies and gentlemen, without wasting time, allow me to invite the Chancellor to constitute the 10th congregation of Muteesa, the first Royal University.
To start now, I'm addressing you virtually by video conference.
Thank you very much. Another round of hand clap, ladies and gentlemen. The Chancellor has constituted the 10th congregation of MRAU. As we told you, ladies and gentlemen, that many of the people who are supposed to be here, including our graduates, our guardians, members of staff, and other guests, are following us online. Because of the COVID-19 pandemic, we were unable to have everyone physically attend. At this moment, ladies and gentlemen, let us join our hands to welcome none other than Professor Vincent Kakembo, the Vice Chancellor of Muteesa, the First Royal University, who will give his welcome remarks. You're welcome, Mr. Vice Chancellor.
Madam Chancellor, Lady Justice Julia Sebutinde, our guest of honor, our beloved Katikkiro of Buganda, Owekitiibwa Peter Charles Mayiga, the first Deputy Katikkiro, Professor Twaha Kawase, our Line Minister, Dr. Prosperous Nankindu, the Chairman, Governing Council, Engineer Dr. Sebowa, members of the Governing Council, the Professoriate present, Deans, Academic Registrar, Heads of Departments, Academic and Support Staff, Student Leadership, our guardians, and our special guests, all protocol observed. By way of introduction, Madam Chancellor, it's a great honor and privilege to welcome all present to Muteesa the First Royal University 9th graduation ceremony. The academic year 2019-2020 has been the most challenging ever, owing to the COVID-19 lockdown-induced constraints. Congratulations to our students for having completed their studies under such difficult conditions. I also applaud our parents and academic staff for the unfailing support that has enabled us to complete the academic year for the candidate class, at least. So on this 9th graduation ceremony of Muteesa the First Royal University, we present to the congregation 633 graduates, of whom 371 are female and 262 are male. Obviously, the female have beaten the male. Our teaching and learning. Madam Chancellor, the COVID-19 pandemic has been a game changer in the education sector. The closure of all university business created serious academic, financial, and administrative bottlenecks. Notwithstanding the pandemic-induced constraints, we've had to develop coping mechanisms, particularly mainstreaming e-learning. This shift is reflected in the theme of the 9th graduation, that is, embracing ICT in all university operations. The virtual nature or hybrid nature of this graduation ceremony, which is ICT-driven, epitomizes this theme. Our academic staff have received training in the development of e-learning material. WhatsApp has become an important platform in our interaction with students. I'm also proud to report on the critical mass we have built in PhD acquisition by our academic staff. Currently, 21% of our staff are PhD holders. That exceeds the 16% threshold stipulated by National Council for Higher Education. And this year alone, 4 of our academic staff members have obtained their PhDs. and more than 10 staff members are pursuing PhD studies as well. Internationalization. Madam Chancellor, the development of international partnerships is key to leveraging resources, research capacity building, and benchmarking of teaching and learning processes. The grants, international and research and graduate offices have been established at the MRIU. These should serve as vehicles for resource mobilization and enhance international research partnerships, as well as student exchange. Already, several research grants have been won and research papers have been published in an in-house and other international research journals during the lockdown period. Each area in agriculture. Madam Chancellor, in response to the strong counsel at the 7th graduation from you to be relevant to the rural environment we find ourselves in by offering courses in agriculture, I'm happy to report that 2 certificate and 3 diploma courses and a bachelor's program in agriculture have been developed. These await accreditation by the National Council of Higher Education. And we also initiated partnerships with the National Agricultural Research Organization, who had gladly allowed us to use their facilities at Kamenyamigo Station. Charter acquisition. Madam Chancellor, a firm trajectory in the direction of charter acquisition has been defined. We've already conducted an defense of our charter application, and at this stage we have obtained, developed, and submitted all documentation required by National Council for Higher Education. So we have a pronouncement from their side in terms of when they should conduct the final on-site inspection that should herald the recommendation for the award of a charter. In closing, graduates, we usher you into the world of work at a time when creativity and innovation will be game changers in your lives. The inevitable job attrition associated with the pandemic presents intricate challenges in the job market. This calls for a job creation rather than a job-seeking mentality. Improving yourselves further by way of undertaking graduate studies or programs is another option we recommend. So I take this opportunity to wish you all the very best in your career endeavors. So at this stage, it's my singular honor and privilege to invite the Chairman, Governing Council, Engineer Dr. Sebowa, to address the congregation. Sabasajja Kabaka Awangale.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chancellor.
Katikkiro of Uganda, Prime Minister, and other ministers, members of the University Governing Council, Mr. Vice Chancellor, members of Uganda Lukiiko, dignitaries from the corporate world, staff of Muteesa and Royal University, parents and guardians here present, and those joining the function through media, such as our Telefina, PBS, radio, YouTube, Facebook, and those on Zoom, the student leadership, distinguished guests and ladies and gentlemen, I congratulate the 9th set of graduates of Muteesa and Royal University. On behalf of the 5th Governing Council, I welcome you all once again to the university, and particularly to this 9th graduation ceremony, seeing off those students who were enrolled in 2017-2018. Give me this opportunity to introduce members of council who are here present. I start with my vice chairman, vice to me, Professor Dumba Sentam. There is Dr. Yusuf Nsubuga. There is Dr. Maria Goretti Nakabogo. There is Madam Leticia Natimuli. Of course, the Vice Chancellor and the Deputy Vice Chancellor are members of Council as well. The MC himself, Mr. Senkungu, is a member of Council as well. I'm honored and privileged as the chairman of the Council to be celebrating with you this great milestone of achievement for the students, parents, guardians, and the university staff, as well as other stakeholders. Despite the COVID-19 related challenges we have all shared in 2020, these students have been a great class that has made things happen to achieve the objectives. Provided you build on those strengths which you've obtained here and during this particular period, we in Council are confident that your future in the world is secured. Many business leaders strive to build such qualities with mixed success, but I hope that in the future, Muteesa and Royal University shall claim to have been the foundation for your successful career for the skills impacted to you. Graduation, some blessed man is beginning to rain, and it's raining in my notes, so they are becoming difficult to read. Graduation is a time of celebration and triumph and marks the end of one phase and the beginning of the next phase for most of you students. It is a very proud moment for the graduating individual, parents, university staff, especially the lecturers who have played their part in producing the results we are witnessing today. You have worked hard with focus, determination, and discipline. The lecturers have done their best to help you by encouraging you and motivating you to perform at the optimum and achieve the best results possible. Your parents and guardians have made many sacrifices in the last few years to provide you with an enabling environment, financial, moral, etc., to help you through this phase of university. You started as children and are living as adults. You will be in a totally different environment, gaining new friends maybe, and you will be subjected to new peer pressures, and parents have to accept that their children will not be under their roofs anymore, and they may end up after thousands of kilometers away from home. Graduates of Muteesa and Royal University, the lot you are joining, and you yourselves, wherever you go, be an excellent ambassador for the Kabakas University. I was delighted to read the words embracing ICT in today's theme. In this day and age, a number of major organizations have failed due to lack of competent ICT skills, despite having the finest brains in their establishment. Human creativity has increasingly become a group process. We now live in a tough world, and as low-hanging fruits are diminishing, significant success can still be achieved if we embrace ICT in our daily lives, places of work, and use our imagination. In all this, mind your attitude and perspective towards whatever you do. You will need to be self-motivating henceforth, because the lecturers won't be behind you anymore, and look to manage time and other resources well. Madam Chancellor, the 5th MRIU Governing Council term of office will soon come to its end. We are honored to have served Ssaabasajja Kabaka through this avenue and pledge our willingness and readiness to serve even more. In other words, tusiimye bwongerwa. We made a number of other achievements during our term, but let me mention a few. We led the pacification of Caracas University from the previous unending and unpeaceful strikes of both staff and students. We acquired financing, and here we must thank Sarasajja for the collateral he availed to us. This financing enabled us to revamp the learning facilities to the extent we now have, and best teaching, to the extent that we now have the best teaching kitchen, the best teaching radio station and TV studio for training students. Our team spearheaded the replacement of asbestos on all these buildings. All these buildings had asbestos. We now leave, or the term ends, because we hope we are not leaving, because the term ends with new iron sheets on top there. We managed to recruit new staff, and indeed we are most proud to have recruited the Vice Chancellor, who has molded a formidable team in the short time he has been with us at MRIU. We are also on the verge of acquiring that university charter, which we hope will come as we await now only their final inspection, which should happen soon. We are grateful to the management team led by Professor Kakembo for its unwavering support to the University Governing Council. Their effort in providing lifelong learning and development leadership skills to most of the students is also most noted with appreciation. We single out the recent e-learning and other efforts that have ensured that today's graduates accomplish their studies in spite of the ravages of COVID-19. That is a step in the right direction. The students and all of us are headed now for more ICT, e-learning, and things like that. Now that it's been introduced to the university, we must live that. We must appreciate that as we go. We have a great appreciation for the opportunity that Sarasajja Kabaka availed to us to serve our kingdom, and request that through you, Sir, which Tiwa Katikiro, Sarasajja is informed that your Vasajja and your Zana are happy that you gave them this opportunity. Thank you all once again for coming to celebrate with us this important academic event. And may I wish you safe journeys back to your homes and success in all your future endeavors. My only appeal is that you celebrate, especially the students who are graduating, celebrate safely, minding the advice given to us by the Ministry of Health in view of COVID-19. I thank you, everybody. Thank you very much. I forgot the most important statement. Sarasajja Kabaka Awangali.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair of Council. Among your council members is Mr. Owen Seremba and Mr. Arosias Chivira, the Guild President, and is among the graduates. We are live on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, CBS, and BBS. And I think the most proud person today is
Justice Julia Semtinde, the Katikiro of Uganda, and all of you important women and men part of this congregation. I greet you all. I know on such days graduates are full of joy and excitement. Some may not be able to listen to speeches. That's why I made my speech very short, with just a few bullets for them to remember. Being educated is one of them. It does not mean filing academic transcripts, not at all. It means being able to stay peacefully with others in society, to live in society with impact, with relevancy, capability to solve your own and community challenges. Even people who have missed education may be and have always been, like you may know, our grandparents, have been able to solve problems in their communities and at the same time personal problems. So it is a challenge to you to make a difference. And the only difference is that you are educated now, so you've been informed in advance. You have knowledge, skills, you've been equipped to address such challenges well in advance. For example, we do not expect you to be on the streets because there are no jobs. It is you graduating today who are supposed to show the public the value and relevancy of education. You may have some people who are educated or even highly educated, but extremely poor, disorganized, and instead of solving their own problems, it is the opposite. The community and the families do what they are expected of their educated members of community. You may have heard, I would say in Uganda, omusajja yayisanga ataasoma. Olwo singa teyasoma yandibadde atya. That means you've been educated, but you are misfit in one way, or you do things which do not fit a person with a degree and so. If you see that, just realize there is a problem. Education is supposed to change your ways, as we have already said. I've mentioned earlier that education is not about academic transcripts only, but is exhibited from the way you are going to behave. That specific way you handle issues, the way you address people, the way you think, the way you live with others, and their life. You do not need to wear anything to show you have a degree after today. Or remind people that you have one. Just do those exceptional, unique, and quality things. Then the public will just automatically reaffirm that you are a graduate. Let the public see what you do and award you a degree. Probably, you have heard people say, omusajja oyo teyasoma naye mugagga. Olwo singa yasoma. I want to end with one word. Let the public award you the degree you want. I will conclude, Madam Chancellor, by once again thanking you for having us today and for your guidance. I would like to thank Ssaabasajja Kabaka and the entire Kingdom of Uganda for accepting us to have this university. I would like to thank the parents, graduates, council, management, and all MRIU staff at all levels for supporting each other as we build MRIU. Ssaabasajja Kabaka, awangaale.
Oweekitiibwa Katikkiro, you're most welcome, and we want to thank you for loving MRIU, accepting every time to preside over this function as guest of honor. Another very loud hand clap to welcome the Katikkiro.
Thank you very much, MC. First of all, I would like everyone to note that I've got a mask. I'm only removing it now because the distance between me and those nearest to me is safe. And the microphones have been sanitized. And the papers have been sanitized. So I want to speak so that you hear me well. members of the press have said more than once that I go in public without a mask. Yes. I have it. Madam Chancellor, the First Deputy Katikiro, the Kabaka's Minister in charge of social services, including education, the Vice Chancellor, Okino, the Chairman of the University Council and all council, Masaka District, parents, graduates, ladies and gentlemen. We gather here today to celebrate for the 9th time the graduation of yet another batch of well-trained men and women who we believe can effectively suit the international market. This is a very special moment for the graduates. It's a very special moment for all those connected in any way with the graduates, particularly the parents, who regrettably cannot be with us in person, but thanks to modern technology, they must be watching from the comfort of their homes. And I thank BBS Telefina for telecasting this event live. Graduation is a special achievement because it marks the crowning moment of your efforts as university students, and you deserve warm congratulations. Mr. Vice Chancellor, I'm immensely impressed by your resilience given the COVID-19 pandemic that has literally brought the entire world to its knees. Yes, thank you for that hand clap. I'm immensely impressed by their resilience. I know it hasn't been easy for you and members of your team. I know it hasn't been easy for the parents. I know it hasn't been easy for the students, the staff. However, the fight you have put up to this point should serve as a constant reminder, especially the young ones graduating today, that challenges are a constant factor in our lives. Success in life requires all of us to keep working hard purposely and with determination. As you join thousands of professionals out there, you should remember that Muteesa, the First Royal University, continues to engage the world in substantial academic and innovative aspects. I'm aware that during the current pandemic, the university organized a series of seminars and webinars about social solutions to confront effects of the pandemic. And those seminars and webinars attracted audience from across the world. I commend the university's endeavors towards research collaboration with the community, the most recent of which was about COVID-19, women and effects of e-learning and homeschooling. The findings from this report shall go a long way in informing policy within the kingdom and the government, the central government, about teaching and learning during this pandemic and others similar to it. As those who have spoken before me have mentioned, information communication technology has never been more relevant than it is today. Therefore, the university should invest more in ICT as education and the workplaces are increasingly shifting towards e-learning and internet-aided remote working, respectively. I'm very glad that today we have representation from different sectors, from government, from civil society, from companies, from the corporate world. That's important because the world today calls for collaboration and partnerships. Therefore, allow me, ladies and gentlemen, especially those who have come to witness this event, allow me to dedicate these young men and women to you, for I am confident of the skills and training they've acquired from this university. When the graduates return home today, you're going to see the proud faces of your parents, the proud faces of your friends, the proud faces of the community where you stay. I urge you to appreciate the support they have offered you in various ways up to now. Therefore, be humble. I think the minister gave you a very useful piece of advice. Let your actions be the ones to award you the degree that you've earned in this university. Be humble, be truthful, be humane when rendering service to community. Stick the values of Ubuntu Bulamu. You can call it enduring integrity. Stick those values. You've acquired them from this university set up by the Kabaka himself. Education isn't for memorizing lines that you read in the books. I don't think that's the purpose of education. The purpose of education is to equip you with tools to see the entire broadness of the world, to equip you with tools to be free thinkers who can initiate solutions for the advancement of the communities in which you live. Just be good at whatever you do, and all the benefits you desire will flow towards you. I thank the University Management and the Governing Council for the effort and commitment that has enabled us to have this hybrid graduation ceremony, because as you know, the Chancellor is participating virtually and many other people. I wish each of the graduates success and good luck as you embark on your journey into the future. Mbakulisa nnyo bannaye. Okuba nti nga tuli mu katyabaga ka ssennyiga korona ono, musobodde okutikkirwa era neebaza nnyo abakulira ssettendekero ono, abayizi n'abazadde olw'obuvumu. Omuntu omunafu tabulwa bye yeekwasa, era Omuganda agamba nti anaalemu ebbuzi okutuga tirintunuulidde, teryandikutunuulidde. Kaakati twajjirwa akatyabaga kano, omunafu ajja kwebaka, omujagujagu ajja kwerwanako, era lino libeere essomo erimu abayizi nti obutateganya teguzza nvuma. Oli abize mu bulala, mugenda kuyingira ensi ejjudde abantu. Tubasaba mubalage nti mulina emiramwa egy'enkizo gye mwafuna mu ssettendekero. Mube batetenkanya, mube abavubuka ab'omulembe omutebi abeeyunira embeera nga bwegenda ekyuka naddala nga tuli mu mbeera eno ng'obulamu butambulira ku mutimbagano. Mwenna abagenyi baffe abazze abakulira ebitongole, abakulembeze, ab'ebyobufuzi, abaana baffe baabano tubabawadde mubawe emirimu, tubeesiga batendekeddwa bulungi. Mu abaana bwe muddeeka mujjukire abo abababedde, mujjukire abababedde, bazadde bammwe, ab'eŋŋanda, abantu b'omu bitundu gye muva. Togenda kubasasula ssente, naye tujja kulaba nti waganyulwa bwe wajja mu Muteesa the First Royal University ng'oli muntu mulamu, ng'oli mwetoowaze, ng'emirimu ogikola n'amaanyi go gonna mu bwerufu. Okutendekebwa mu matendekero tekigendereddwamu nti nno ojjukire buli kanyiriri ke wasoma mu bitabo. Abantu abayigirize nga mmwe baagala nnyo okweyogezayogeza obunyiririnyiriri bwe baasoma mu bitabo ebinene, okutiisatiisa abantu. Mwegendereze nnyo omuntu aleetaleeta obunyiririnyiriri bw'ajjukira mu bitabo abatasobola kwerowooleza. Omugaso gw'okutendekebwa gw'osobola okulaba ensi gy'eva ne gy'ekoma, osobole okwerowooleza, si kujulizajuliza bulayinilayini bw'osomye mu bitabo. Bw'onooba okola bulungi emirimu ng'Oweekitiibwa Minisita bw'abagambye, tujja kugamba nti wamma ddala ono yafuna digiri eya yunivasite ya Kabaka. Tubaagaliza obuwanguzi mu byonna bye mugenda okukola. Ayi Katonda kuuma Kabaka waffe.
Oweekitiibwa Katikkiro, may I request the graduates, if you've really understood the message and advice from the Katikkiro, once again to clap for it. At this moment, we are going to have recognition of the outstanding performers. May I now invite the academic registrar who is going to read to us the outstanding performers for recognition and award of their performance, certificates of performance.
Madam Chancellor, the Katikkiro of Buganda, Oweekitiibwa Charles Peter Mayiga, the Minister of Education, members of MRI Council, the Vice Chancellor, members of the MGIC around, the staff of MRIU, parents, members who are on Zoom and other social media platforms, ladies and gentlemen. Madam Chancellor, allow me to introduce to you the overall best candidates for faculty who have excelled and qualified to receive the Chancellor's Award for the 9th Muteesa the First Royal University graduation ceremony. I'm going to read out their names and I request them to move forward to the Katikkiro to receive their awards. From the Faculty of Science and Information Technology, Engineering, Art and Design, the overall best candidate is Mr. Omara Eliasi, graduating with a CGPA of 4.74. Mr. Omara Elias, please move towards the Katikkiro. Elias is graduating with Bachelor of Industrial and Fine Art. Ladies and gentlemen, and the OHD particular, the monument of, we have got a statue of students reading a book in front of the library at Kapeka. That is the work of Mr. Elias. And ladies and gentlemen, if you open your graduation book, that monument is there. That is his work. Because Elias, thank you so much and we congratulate you. It is page 20 in the graduation book. Madam Chancellor, again from Faculty of Social Culture and Government Studies, the overall best candidate is Mr. Mulema Arthur, graduating with a CGPA of 4.6, with Bachelor of Tourism and Hotel Management. Mr. Mulema, I can congratulate you. Lastly, from the Faculty of Education, Madam Chancellor, the overall best candidate in this faculty is Ms. Nakarema Rebecca, graduating with CGPA of 4.57, with Bachelor of Arts with Education. Ms. Nakarema Rebecca. Faculty of Business, I never had anybody score in the first class. I thank you so much.
Business.
Thank you very much, academic registrar. Thank you very much for your academic success. We look forward to see that you translate this into academic job. At this moment, we are calling upon our beloved Chancellor to address the congregation. Our Chancellor is going to address this congregation. Thank you.
Thank you for calling upon me. My speech will be partly in English and partly in Uganda. Please bear with me. The Katikkiro of Uganda Kingdom, Oweekitiibwa Charles Peter Mayiga, sebo nsanyuse nnyo okulaba. The Minister in charge of Education of Uganda Kingdom, Dr. Prosperous Nankindu Kavuma, the Chairman, MRU Governing Council, Engineer Dr. Frank Seboa, members of Council, Vice Chancellor Professor Vincent Kakembo, the professoriate, members of the academy, university staff, student guild president and representatives, dear graduates, family and friends, ladies and gentlemen, I greet you. On behalf of Muteesa One Royal University, it is with great pleasure that I welcome you all to the 9th graduation ceremony. Let me start by congratulating all of you upon completing a very challenging year of 2020 and crossing over to 2021. For those that have lost loved ones or who are nursing sick relatives, I commend you to our Lord and Comforter. This graduation ceremony is different from previous ones in that it is held in a hybrid format, as you've already heard, with some of the participants being physically present at the main campus of Kirumba, Masaka, while the majority of graduates and their parents will attend or are attending virtually. As you've heard, I too am attending virtually. All of this has been necessitated by the prevailing COVID pandemic. This time round, we are expecting to graduate around 660 finalists, which in a way is a reduction from the over 900 finalists that we graduated during the 8th graduation ceremony. This decline in numbers is due to the challenges that many students faced this past year due to the COVID-19 lockdown. The ceremony is a clear expression of the never say die spirit by our graduating students who have, against all odds, samala mumanyi. Zenzibikira bwe nali nga graduatinga okufuna degree yange yasooka. Olunaku olwo lwalinga nyinza lugeraageranya na lunaku lwa mbaga yange nga nfumbirwa. Essanyu eryali ku mutima. Era ngenda ne ngamba nti singa nalina embaga nga kuliko abantu 20, oba naalisanyuse, oba naalikaabye. Naye namba si kyekikulu. Ekikulu ze degree ze mugenda okufuna olwaleero. Anzeeyo mu Luzungu. I congratulate you all, our graduates, on reaching this key milestone in your lives after years of hard work. I wish to acknowledge the vision and magnanimity of His Majesty, Ssaabasajja Kabaka Ronald Muwenda Mutebi II. He is the visitor and first chancellor of MRU, in setting up this university with the aim of providing affordable university education to our students that hail from disadvantaged backgrounds. I salute all our parents, sponsors, and funders who have mobilized resources, particularly during the most challenging final year, to enable candidates to graduate. Of course, credit also goes to our academic staff, who have worked tirelessly to prepare the graduates. Several Vice Chancellor ne team yo yonna namwe mbayozayoza. Omwaka guno tegubadde mwangu ffenna gye tubadde, naye okulaba nti tusobodde okugraduatinga abayizi kumpi 7. Ekyo mukulikire ddala. The University Governing Council has played a vital overseer role, which has created an enabling environment for the university management to execute both administrative and academic duties during the just concluded academic year. Now, during the past academic year, you have heard from the Vice Chancellor that strides have been made in embracing ICT, both in the teaching and learning spheres, and particularly mainstreaming e-learning. These strides are commendable. In fact, in my view, this is an inevitable COVID-19 induced paradigm shift, which is now dubbed the new normal. We have to all adjust to the new normal. However, I would like to caution that the main objective should not be that of just embracing ICT. The aim of ICT should be the delivery of quality education by way of integrating ICT in teaching and learning processes. By so doing, our student outputs will be highly competitive in the dynamic ICT-driven world of work. I will return to this important point of e-learning later on in this address. I would like to thank the university management for responding to my counsel to develop agricultural courses in direct response to the needs of our rural population and setting. This provides us with the impetus to leverage the requisite resources that will elevate agriculture to flagship course status at MRU. Developing local and international partnerships is key in the successful implementation of such practical courses. I understand that the courses will be rolled out as soon as they have received accreditation by the National Council for Higher Education. We all eagerly await this accreditation and subsequent implementation of these courses. I also would like to applaud the university management, supported by the Governing Council, for their efforts at developing international partnerships. The establishment of the International Office, Grants Office, and Research and Graduate Office is a remarkable stride in this direction. These offices will undoubtedly serve to align teaching and learning and research activities with desirable international standards and good practices. They will also serve as conduits to facilitate international resource mobilization. Hitherto, the absence or dysfunctionality of such structures has rendered MRU's response to local and international calls for research grants and other forms of funding impossible. Endeavors by organizations and individuals, well-wishing academic institutions be pursuing, as well as the challenges that were ushered in during the 2020 year, but which are likely to remain with us for several years to come. Now, you have all heard of Agenda 2030 and the Sustainable Development Goals. I hope this is not Chinese for anyone. These goals, also known as global goals, were adopted by all UN member states, including Uganda, in 2015 as a universal call to action based on the needs of the global community. The call was intended to protect the planet and ensure that all people enjoy peace and prosperity by the year 2030. That is in exactly 10 years' time from now. I wish to single out two of these goals that, in my view, are quite pertinent to our institution at MRU. Sustainable Development Goal number 4. This is a goal under which we as members undertook to ensure, or we as a country would say, undertook to ensure that by the year 2030, women and men have equal access to affordable and quality technical, vocational, and tertiary education, including university education, as well as ensuring a substantial increase in the number of youths and adults with relevant skills, including technical and vocational skills for employment, decent jobs, and entrepreneurship. Isn't this one of the goals of our university? I think it is. Now, Sustainable Development Goal number 5 is a goal through which we undertook to ensure that by 2030, we have gender parity, that's equality, in terms of opportunity, for skilling and employment, and by eliminating all forms of discrimination against women and girls. Again, this, in my view, is a very key goal. Now, although these two goals are key in guiding the educational policies in this country, it is up to each institution of higher learning to figure out how to achieve these goals practically. Which brings me to the challenges that we have faced during 2020 and probably are likely to face in 2021 and going forward. Allow me to share with you two challenges that I see facing MRU and many other institutions of higher learning in this country in the next few years. May I also hasten to add that while these may present themselves as challenges or difficulties, they can also be opportunities for MRU to achieve its sustainable development goals, as well as to improve its operations and efficiency. The first challenge, of course, is the COVID-19 pandemic. 2020 has been a year of great challenges globally. The COVID-19 pandemic has adversely affected and continues to affect our lives in many respects. COVID-19 is a dangerous reality that is spreading at great speed in our society, often with fatal results. The adage, when the going gets tough, the tough get going, rings true today more than ever. In the education sector, governments and institutions of learning are having to come up with new policies and innovations that will enable learners to continue with their studies without endangering their health or that of their teachers. It is a challenge that all countries are facing. Some have resorted to closing down their schools, some countries that is. They've resorted to closing down their schools and universities altogether and sending students home indefinitely. In my view, this is not a viable option, as it is likely to result in students dropping out of school altogether and in loss of valuable human resource. Others, on the other hand, have asked their students to study in shifts so that they maintain social distancing. Others yet have embraced e-learning. This last option has turned out to be popular, but requires a lot of serious planning. I'm glad to have heard that MRU has started to embrace e-learning, or will embrace it more and more. I hope that this is not lip service. I know that a number of private schools and universities in this country have already embraced e-learning and are ensuring that their students do not lose valuable time sitting at home waiting for the pandemic to wane. Of course, you can imagine that schools and institutions that have not used the lockdown to figure out a safe way to reopen are simply marking time and ultimately will waste valuable learning time for their students. Because when those students return, when the schools and institutions are open, they will return to the old modus operandi. Where we can choose to embrace e-learning and have our students continue to study in a safe and competitive environment, or we for development. No self-respecting institution of learning should consider itself absolved of responsibility once its graduates pass out. We should be concerned that the graduates we produce are able to employ themselves when they leave our institutions. Again, I would emphasize the importance of Sustainable Development Goal number 4 above. One way of ensuring that our graduates always find employment when they leave our university or our universities is to ensure that the courses we teach them and the skills we equip them with are self-sustaining. Many private universities have sprung up in various parts of our country. This can be a wonderful development if each of these institutions sets out to contribute to the value chain in the communities where the institutions are based. Indeed, this is exactly what some of these universities have done, ensuring that they find out the needs of the community and then offer courses that will be beneficial to the local community. I'm glad to have heard that MRU is seriously thinking about agriculture, because in my view, as I've said, for as long as I've been in this position, this is the way we should be going. Now, I want to conclude by encouraging MRU and other institutions of learning to use the current pandemic not as a setback, but as a stepping stone to embrace e-learning and to put ICT at the center of their learning tools. I also encourage MRU to be innovative in coming up with other ways of continuing the academic year in a safe manner that will not jeopardize the health of the students or the lecturers. Lastly, I encourage MRU to seriously consider the course content that they offer to the students, with the aim of ensuring that we graduate job creators rather than job seekers. I have every confidence that we can do it. Indeed, when the going gets tough, the tough must get going. Let me conclude by once again congratulating the graduates and their families, and by wishing them all the best as they each embark on their careers. I am also mindful that next week Ugandans go to the polls. For many of our graduates and continuing students, this may be your first election. It is your civic duty to vote for leaders of your choice. Please go and vote. Vote wisely because your future depends on it. Vote for leaders that will pursue policies that will improve your lives and opportunities in this country. The future belongs to you, young people. As the saying goes, mwebelelemu. And thank you for your kind attention. Sawa saja kawaka awangare. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Chancellor. When the going gets tough, the tough must get going.
Congratulations, you're in the glory of God. Congratulations, He has done it for you. And you will come back with a new song to sing. God is good. Yes, you will come again with a new song of praise. God is good. Oh. Them say that I can never be all that I see. I've seen that God is greater than that.